Most families spend their time on holiday season together, making long-lasting memories, full of happiness and joy, while eagerly waiting in excitement to graciously welcome the new year. However, this isn't the case for everyone. This is one of those stories. Enter the Miyazaki household, a little family residing in Setegaya district in Tokyo, Japan. Starting with Mikio Miyazaki, a 44-year-old husband and father, work occupation, marketing firm in London, England. Mikio's wife, Yasuko Miyazaki, a 41-year-old teacher, and their two children, 8-year-old Nina and 6-year-old Rei. The family lived in a duplex-like home, with their neighbors being Yasuko's mother, her sister, and her brother-in-law. Their home was located right next to a public park and skate park, but it was only being blocked off by a mere fence. The city had made plans to expand the park, causing many of the residents to move out of the neighborhood, resulting in only 4 families now living in the area. Now, in a tight little neighborhood like this, you would assume maybe the neighbors in the area might have witnessed or have any useful information regarding the murder that had taken place. Had there been any unusual activity in the area, they surely would have taken notice. And they have. Starting sometime in the summer of the same year, many residents of the area had taken notice that some of the wildlife in the area would end up being tormented, tortured, and finally hung around the neighborhood on a sort of public display. But no one has ever seen nor heard anyone putting the animals up around. A week before New Year's, Mikio was seen confronting a group of rowdy teenagers. Some say they affiliate with one of Japan's many Bosozoku biker gangs. It is unsure what exactly Mikio said to these boys, but considering the fact that they're part of a rebellionistic gang, and whatever Mikio could have said to one of them, they could have held a grudge, right? Take that, and if you ask me, torturing animals sounds like it could be in their portfolio. Mikio's wife, Yasuko, had mentioned to her father-in-law that she would notice a strange car had been frequently parking outside of their home for the past few days. She would begin to think that they were here visiting one of the neighbors across the street, but then the logical reasoning started kicking in, and she would start to feel uneasy because there's more than exactly enough parking spaces in the area. So why would they make sure to park exactly in front of their home at the same time? One of the neighbors recalls a sort of middle-aged man walking around the premises of the Miyazaki household while no one was home. Seeming like a relatively normal morning, the Miyazakis went about their daily business and went shopping for the upcoming holiday. At around 7 p.m., there was a phone call between Yasuko and her mom discussing plans for the new year. Even though they lived right next door to each other, they often called each other just to chit-chat. Nothing out of the ordinary. The last recorded activity of the Miyazakis was Mikio's work email that he had sent around 10:40 p.m. While the family was unwinding for the night, a man had entered their home through one of the windows on the second-floor bathroom, most likely making use of the nearby tree. The intruder then proceeded to creep around the house until he stumbled upon Ray sleeping in his room. The man entered Ray's room and began to strangle the boy, squeezing the life out of him with his bare hands. Ray, barely making enough noise, managed to catch attention of his father Mikio, who was downstairs working on his laptop. Mikio had gone upstairs to check on his son when he walked in on the man choking him. A fight broke out between the two, and unfortunately, Mikio was stabbed in the temple with a sashimi knife, and a piece of the blade had broke off inside of his skull. He was then pushed down the stairs, and the killer began searching for the other members of the family. Encountering Yasuko and Nina trying to make a break for the attic, he began to use the damaged blade to brutally stab Yasuko and Nina, both way beyond their points of death. After the killings, the psychopath decided to make himself at home. He ate some of their food, enjoying their ice cream and tea. He tended his wounds using the family's first aid kit, and browsed the interwebs on Mikio's computer. He even left an entire log of shit in the toilet. This killer left evidence everywhere before departing. In the morning, Yasuko's mother found it strange that neither Misako or Yasuko came over or even called, considering it was New Year's Day. That's when she took it amongst herself to check in on her family, and when she opened their front door, she had found Mikio's body dead at the bottom of the steps with multiple stab wounds. As mentioned before, the killer had left an astonishing amount of evidence behind. There has been many debates on whether or not this was purposeful, since no criminal would ever do such a thing, unless it was a warning sign or a sort of personal signature that this killer is known for doing. Regardless of the intention behind it, one thing is clear. This person was way more than sure that they would never be caught. Police officials were able to gain intel that on December 29th, a middle-aged man had purchased the only sashimi knife from a shopping area nearby, and that this same man was seen leaving a train station nearby the Miyazaki household. At the crime scene, the police had found the clothing that was left behind by the killer with blood on it. Unfortunately, though, even with the abundance of evidence left behind, the police were only able to conclude that the killer wasn't even a Japanese native at all, and it was actually of Southern European and Korean descent, but nothing more, causing this to become a cold case. The case has been cold for over 20 years now, with no arrests made or suspects noted. There have been multiple rewards for anyone that can give any information or lead, but due to Japan's statute of limitations, the murderer can no longer be arrested for this crime, but even then refuses to show themselves.